Is it okay if I ask something?
Sure, what is it?
Why are you so cold to Dad? Just now, he looked really shocked and went off alone.
Do you like Dad?
What? Yes, of course, I do. Isn't that obvious?
I could tell you why I'm cold to him, but it might hurt you. Are you ready for that?
I don't mind getting hurt. Can you tell me why?
All right, I'll say it. Dad's probably having an affair.
What? My son suddenly accused his husband of having an affair. However, there were no signs of trouble in our marriage, and he was serious about his work. I couldn't believe what my son was saying. Yet, he has an IQ of 140. He wouldn't say this without any basis. I decided to listen to my son's detailed story and verify the facts together. After 15 years of marriage, it seems I had been cheated on for 10 years. Moreover, my husband was likely planning a trip with his affair partner. Could it be? Since that time, it seems I've been cheated on for 10 years. Now I had to reconsider the relationship with my husband. Looking at my son's face, I noticed a slight change in his expression.
You got hurt after all, didn't you? This is unforgivable. Can I make Dad regret it?
My son seemed to have a plan. I decided to go along with my son's strategy. I am Erica, a 42-year-old office worker, just an ordinary person. I married Sean, a 45-year-old salesman, 15 years ago. He was slightly successful, but not particularly outstanding. We met through a common friend, and our meeting was not dramatic, nor was our marriage born out of a great romance. The only slightly unusual thing was that it was a shotgun wedding, but even that was not particularly rare. We were like the template of an average married couple. However, there was one thing we could brag about, almost wanting to shout it out loud.
That's an amazing score again. Isn't that a perfect A+ in history?
The tests at school aren't so hard.
I'm still impressed. When I was in middle school, I worked hard to get C.
Comparing us is pointless, isn't it?
It was usual for our son to score well on tests. We both were delighted every time our son brought home good grades. Our son, Hart, was 15 years old. With exams becoming more intense, it was supposed to be a challenging time, but we were not worried at all. He was so excellent that we sometimes doubted if he was really our child. He seemed smarter than both of us already. We realized our son was smart when he was 4 years old. At that time, he often clashed with other kids. According to his kindergarten teacher, he would initiate conversations with friends, and before long, they would start getting angry. I asked my son why he was saying things that made his friends angry. You made your friend angry again today. Why do you always say things that make them mad?
But if you gather the paper and tear it, you can use the glue right away, right? I told them that, and they said I was being annoying.
I didn't quite understand what my son was saying, but it seemed he was just giving advice to his friends. However, his friends wanted to do things their own way, which probably led to the arguments. As such clashes with friends continued, and we couldn't quite grasp the situations, my husband and I wondered if our son might have a developmental disorder, so we consulted a hospital. At the hospital, they conducted an IQ test to objectively assess our son's development. My husband and I were surprised by the results.
His IQ is 140.
Is 140 considered high?
Yes, the average is 100, so that's quite high.
But Hart doesn't seem very good at communicating. Sometimes we don't understand what he's saying.
That might be because Hart is only 4 years old and has limited words and expressions. He understands things well but might only be able to line up the important words because he doesn't know how to express them fully. I talked to Hart earlier, and he was using conjunctions like but and so. This means he can think things through and has his own conclusions.
But he often makes his friends angry.
That's a trait often seen in intelligent children. Hart is quick thinking, so he understands outcomes and conclusions faster than other kids. That's probably why he offers advice. But if Hart's thoughts advance faster than his friends, they might not understand him, leading to clashes. It's like with us adults, right? Even if something is correct, if someone talks about a specialized, complex topic for too long, we get frustrated because we don't understand.
I see. So, Hart is a genius, and we're the ones who haven't been able to understand him.
Well, you could think of it that way. But remember, even though his IQ is 140 now, it can change with age and development. So don't focus too much on the number. Some people push their kids too hard thinking they are smart.
Got it. I'll be careful. The doctor warned us not to put too much pressure on our child because of high expectations. Seeing us happy about the IQ of 140, he must have been concerned. But no parent would not be pleased to hear their child is smart. Knowing our son had an IQ of 140 made all his unusual daily behaviors suddenly make sense. When we bought him a book, he would quickly want the next one. We thought it was restlessness, but he just remembered the content quickly and wanted more. Sometimes he would stare at the TV remote for ages, then start pressing various buttons. We thought it was mischief, but he was curious about how the remote worked. I was happy about my son's high IQ, but I was also pleased to understand his thoughts better. He had an interest in various things and absorbed knowledge rapidly with high concentration. The doctor said IQ could change, but my son remained intelligent. Just imagining his bright future made me happy. However, around this time, a dark future was approaching without my knowledge. After our son took the IQ test, my husband began to put more effort into his work than ever before. He started working late and often went out saying he needed to study on weekends. While it's good to be diligent, I worried he was overdoing it. Working hard is good, but are you okay? You know, many people get sick from overworking, right?
Don't worry, I'm fine. Hart will need more money as he enters elementary school, right? He might want to go to tutoring or attend a private school. Plus, Hart is smart, so I, not being very bright, have to show some effort to maintain my dignity as a parent.
His joke-laden response made me realize he wasn't overexerting himself, which reassured me. As Hart entered elementary school, his vocabulary and expressions grew, and we no longer had trouble understanding his conversations.
Why do we have to get permission from the teacher just to go to the bathroom during class? Is going to the bathroom such a big deal?
If you go without telling, the teacher won't know where the students are.
I see. But then, wouldn't it be better to have a sign on the desk saying toilet? That way, there's no need to interrupt the class for permission, and the teacher can still keep track of where everyone is.
But then, some kids might put up the sign and skip class instead of going to the bathroom.
If they slack off and end up in trouble, it's their own fault, so why not just let them be?
That can't happen. If something goes wrong, It would be the teacher's responsibility.
Enforcing rules and bearing responsibility. Being an adult sure is complicated.
Though he has become better at conversing compared to his kindergarten days, his overly logical and somewhat dry approach remains a flaw. His quick thinking continues to set him apart from other children, a trait that has persisted since kindergarten. However, Hart is aware of his rapid thought processes and seems to be trying to adapt to others. As a method to better relate, he began showing interest in psychology by the 5th grade. He thought that if he understood the other person's psychological condition, it would be easier to match them. This approach is unusually mature for an elementary student, resembling how an adult would strategize to improve workplace relationships. My husband continues to work hard, but his efforts to maintain dignity in front of Hart don't seem to be going very well.
Your job is in sales, right? Do you enjoy it?
Well, it's not always fun since it's work, but being in sales means you are out and about, kind of like the face of the company. It has its rewarding moments.
But being out so much, there must be some who slack off, right?
Well, there are some like that, I guess, but I don't do that.
I'm not saying you're slacking off.
That's right.
Hart tries hard to fit in with those around him. He may have a dry side, but he never looks down on others. However, for some reason, he seems particularly cold towards his father.
Do you think Hart hates me?
I don't think so. He knows you work hard.
But he's not cold to you like he is to me, right?
Well, maybe. They say a father can never beat a mother in parenting.
That's a tough spot to be in.
My husband is facing a classic paternal dilemma. Given Hart's logical nature, trying to change the way he interacts or buying him off would likely be counterproductive and seen through by Hart. It seems the only option is to work harder to impress him and show how great a father he is. Putting my husband's concerns aside, Hart continues to grow. After graduating from elementary school, he moved on to a local middle school. Now in his 2nd year of middle school, it's time to start preparing for exams seriously. But there's no need to rush or worry about Hart. However, now that he's in his early teens, his adolescent phase is a new concern.
Studying all the time can cause stress, right? It's Sunday today. Want to go out and have some fun.
I like studying, so I don't get stressed. Actually, being forced to go somewhere I don't want to is more stressful.
Is that so? Sorry about that. Then, keep up the good work with your studies.
By the way, where were you planning to take me?
Well, how about a museum? It's different from seeing pictures and textbooks. Seeing the real artworks can be a great experience, don't you think?
Have you ever been to a museum?
Not yet, but I thought it might be good for you. So, does that make you want to go?
Did you not hear me say, by the way?
Hart cut off the conversation with his father and left the living room. Left behind, my husband seemed as if he had been heartbroken and wandered out of the house alone. Watching the interaction between Hart and my husband, I felt sorry for the latter, left behind. In the past 3 years, Hart has become even colder towards his father. It's a bit pitiful for my husband. Deciding to help, I approached Hart for a talk. Hart, are you studying? Can we talk?
Sure, what's up?
As I entered Hart's room, he stopped studying to talk. I'm sure if it were my husband, Hart would have asked him to leave so he could study. Why is he so cold towards his father? Given my son's quick perception, I knew he would immediately sense the real question I wanted to ask. Deciding against any roundabout tactics, I chose to ask directly, "Why are you so cold to Dad?" Earlier, he was shocked and left the house alone. My question seemed to pose a complex problem for Hart, leading to a pensive silence in the room, filling me with an odd tension. After a moment, Hart began to speak with a troubled expression.
Do you like Dad?
What? Yes, of course. His unexpected question took me aback. Although I answered honestly, it seemed to trouble Hart even more.
Your words seem genuine.
Of course, they are.
I could tell you why I'm cold to him, but it might hurt you. Are you prepared for that?
What are you talking about? I didn't understand what my son said, so I was confused. It felt like talking to the young Hart. But when he was in kindergarten, he just couldn't express his thoughts well, so he had many things in mind and understood. Now he still must have comprehended something significant to pose such questions. Therefore, if I ask why, I will get hurt, as my son says. Nonetheless, for the sake of improving the relationship between my son and husband, I needed to hear it. I steeled myself, bracing for what was to come. I don't mind being hurt. Can you tell me why?
Your response seems genuine too. So, I'll tell you. I think Dad might be having an affair.
What? I was stunned by his unexpected revelation. An affair. But our marriage isn't troubled, and he's diligent at work. I found it hard to believe my son's claim. That can't be true, right? What's gotten into you all of a sudden?
I'm still speculating, but Dad often lies, especially about work and the company. So, I thought maybe he's having an affair with someone from work.
When has Dad ever lied?
He lied just before. He said he's never been to a museum, but I think he has. Remember when I was into psychology books in 5th grade? I learned how to spot lies then.
Is that about observing eye movements or voice tone? Can you really detect lies that way?
I use more advanced techniques, like leading in conversation and spotting the immediate reactions people show when they lie. You showed confusion and resolve when I asked you earlier. I draw out and observe such reactions during conversations.
So, you've been spotting Dad's lies since 5th grade.
Right. The first time I thought Dad was lying was when he denied slacking off. It wasn't about slacking off, but something felt off. Over these 3 years, the lies I've pieced together point to an affair. But as I said, the affair is just a hypothesis. Still, I believe Dad is unfaithful, and I can't be close to someone like that.
No matter how smart my son is, I found it hard to believe he could easily detect lies. However, as long as he believes my husband is unfaithful, the problem remains unresolved. I pondered how to mend their relationship.
It'd be good if I could be certain my dad isn't having an affair.
I see. It seemed he could read my thoughts, making his lie detection claim more credible. But how can we find out if he's not having an affair?
I need your help with something I can't do alone.
Okay, what can I do?
I've researched that if someone is having an affair, it might show up in credit card histories.
I see, but we don't get paper statements anymore. Your father switched to electronic statements. I've only checked a bank account, so I only know the total amount charged, not what your father spends on with the card.
That's a common way to avoid statement scrutiny. Let's check the web statements. Are you using a family credit card?
Yes, it is a family card, but is that an issue?
No, it's actually better. It's illegal to check the card history without permission, even for family members. But since it's a family card, the history includes both your and Dad's transactions, right? So, it's inevitable that we'll see Dad's transactions too.
That's a gray area, huh?
Do you know the account ID and password?
It's okay. I keep important passwords noted down, so it should be there. Feeling like a detective, I got a bit excited about the task. While it felt wrong to doubt my husband, I believed he would understand once I explained everything and apologized. More so, he should be grateful if this helps improve his relationship with our son. Together, we accessed the computer to check the credit card statements and found several unbelievable charges. What is this? These charges?
These hotel names clearly suggest they are motels, visited every 1 or 2 weeks. There's always a restaurant payment before each motel visit. He's been dining out before going there.
I was shocked, having firmly believed my husband wasn't unfaithful. But Hart, having suspected the affair, remained calm. Why would he engage in an affair?
There's no real reason for affairs. People who are content at home still have them. It often starts with someone feeling a sudden attraction, calling it a moment of madness. So, pondering why he started it is pointless. Even if there's a reason, it doesn't justify the affair, and we don't need to understand the feelings of someone who cheats.
You're right, but I never noticed any signs of infidelity in him.
Mom, you're watching too much drama and online videos. Do you think signs of infidelity are always obvious, or that you'd stumble upon the affair scene? People who cheat are determined to hide it. It's usually like this, discovering it when you least expect it.
As I grappled with the shock of my husband's affair, Hart methodically continued to check the online statements.
We can only see transactions from up to a year back. I wonder how long this has been going on. The duration of the affair is important, right?
It was about 10 years ago that he started putting more effort into his work. Could it have been since then? I might have been cheated on for 10 years.
You remember well, even though it was 10 years ago.
It was right after Hart took the IQ test. That's why I remember. I acknowledged my husband's affair internally. The sudden confrontation with reality hit me hard. I would have preferred signs of conflict or unfamiliar scents on his clothes. Anything that could have given me a clue. Now I must reassess our relationship. I noticed a slight change in my son's expression, which had been calm.
You're hurt after all, Mom. This can't be forgiven. Should I make Dad regret this?
It seemed Hart had a plan. I decided to go along with it. After uncovering the affair, I continued life as if nothing had happened.
There's a business trip next week.
Business trip? That's rare. When is it?
I'm leaving on Thursday, and the work ends on Friday. But coming back the same night is a hassle, so I'll stay another night and return leisurely on Saturday.
On Thursday morning, my husband left for the business trip. After seeing him off, it was time for me to leave too. I'm heading out too. I've prepared some food and put it in the fridge. You can manage it, right? Just be careful with locking up and handling fire.
Don't worry so much. Since you've even taken time off work, you should relax and enjoy.
Leaving Hart in charge at home, I departed, suitcase rattling behind me. I got on a plane and headed to the resort hotel I had booked. I haven't visited a resort hotel in a long time. It's a short trip, 1 night and 2 days, but I plan to relax at the pool and get over my daily fatigue. I arrived at the hotel. It is much bigger and nicer than the picture. I felt an urge to explore. After settling my luggage in the room, I wandered around, capturing the beautifully detailed architecture with my smartphone. I plan to show the videos I captured to my son upon my return. After enjoying or relaxing in the pool and indulging in delicious meals, I felt content. The next morning, I checked out hotel, but didn't leave the hotel immediately. Instead, I sat in the lobby. After a while, I saw a familiar face with an unfamiliar woman and approached them. What a coincidence meeting you here. Have you visited the famous waterfall? Or is sightseeing next on your agenda?
What? Why are you here?
My husband reacted as expected. I claimed it was a coincidence, but of course, it wasn't. I had targeted this place knowing about my husband's affair. I checked the web statements. You paid a travel agency with your credit card, right? I called them. When reviewing the web statements, Hart noticed the payment to the travel agency. Knowing the company's name, I called them, pretending I needed a brochure because I lost mine. I was nervous about picking up the brochure in person, fearing recognition if my husband had booked with his affair partner. Still, fortunately, the staff didn't remember the faces of their many clients. I easily obtained the brochure, revealing my husband's travel destination, and casually confirmed where he would be staying. Is this the food from the hotel I'm staying at?
No, you're staying at the place in this picture.
Matching the travel dates with his supposed business trip made it easy to pinpoint the location and time, leading me to confront the affair scene. Is this your affair partner?
What are you talking about? I told you it's a business trip. This person is from work.
Even without hard skills, it was obvious he was lying. His attempt to remain calm while panicking was evident. I see. This is how Hart discerned his lies. Oh, she's your colleague, I see. Thank you for always taking care of my husband. Would you mind if I take your business card? The two exchanged a silent, uneasy look before the woman reluctantly handed me her business card.
See, the company name matches where I work. She's a coworker. You understand now, right? It's all a misunderstanding. Just go home.
All right, I get it. She's a coworker. But isn't it inappropriate for coworkers to share a room?
How do you know that?
Struggling to suppress a smile, I showed him the video from my phone, which occasionally captured him with a woman, including entering the same room together. Photos and videos of trips and shared accommodations are evidence of an affair, don't they?
What are you doing? This is a privacy invasion.
It's not covert filming. I was merely capturing my solo trip, and you happened to walk into the frame. If you're going to complain about my travel video, would you do the same to others? Look, that couple is taking photos. We might be in their shot. Go on, tell them to stop filming us. Unable to do such a thing, my husband just glared at me in frustration. That was all he could muster. This was all part of the strategy Hart conceived. Relying solely on the credit card history wouldn't suffice as proof of the affair. So Hart and I brainstormed to gather solid evidence. However, every strategy I proposed was systematically rejected by my son. What about planting a bug in his bag?
That's illegal. Besides, the battery would die, right?
What about hiring a private investigator?
That costs a fortune, you know, around $200 per hour. Even if they only followed for 18 hours a day excluding sleep, that's $3,600 a day and over $10,000 for 3 days, not counting travel and accommodation. It's not realistic.
So what then?
Mom, enough with the drama and online video ideas. Let's think of something more practical.
Ultimately, Hart devised the plan of calling the travel agency and using travel footage to capture the affair scene.
Only Mom could carry out the plan. It would be weird for me to call the travel agency for brochures, and I can stay at the hotel alone. So, this is teamwork. I plan and Mom executes.
I felt embarrassed for not contributing much, but my son, with his IQ of 140 and knowledge of psychology, had everything under control. From planning to taking care of my mental state. You two are staying another night, right? Enjoy your stay. We'll talk about the affair and the divorce when you get back. I ended my trip on a high note after refreshing at the hotel and obtaining evidence of my husband's infidelity. Afterwards, we got divorced. Naturally, we divorced smoothly due to the evidence. I gained custody of Hart, and my ex-husband had to pay alimony and child support. However, letting my ex-husband and his affair partner off easily wouldn't complete my revenge. Hart had prepared another move post-trip.
As I predicted, the affair partner was a co-worker, right? So, we'll stir things up a bit by informing their company about the affair.
Got it. So we contact their company to report the affair, hoping for some action against them.
Affairs are private matters. The company can take action. Plus, unnecessarily spreading the word about the affair could lead to defamation charges against us. Forget the drama and internet videos, okay?
Well, sorry, but what do we do then?
Did you get the affair partner's business card?
Yes, I did.
You didn't talk to the affair partner or ask Dad about her, right?
Nope. I followed Hart's instructions.
So, we only know about the affair partner from the business card.
Exactly.
We're supposed to send a certified mail for the affair damages, right? Normally, it has to be sent to the home address. But since we only know her name and workplace, it seems we can send it to her office.
I see. So if the office receives the mail for affair damages, the affair talk spreads, making it awkward for them at work.
Not quite. Others can't open certified mail, so nobody will know it's about the affair. But rumors of the affair might already be circulating in their office. When mysterious certified mail is delivered to the company and Dad gets divorced, others will likely start gossiping more.
The plan unfolded just as Hart envisioned. The affair rumors spread at their workplace, forcing both to resign. Yet, Hart missed one detail. The affair partner was also married. Her affair came to light because of our damages claim, leading her husband to file for divorce and seek compensation from both. The lives of my ex-husband and his affair partner crumbled, and they eventually parted ways amid the chaos. Thus, my revenge for 10 years of betrayal was complete. After settling the matter with my ex-husband and reflecting on everything, I realized something. I watched my son devise the plan, but it wasn't that he knew everything from the start. He researched what he didn't know and applied what he learned. I learned from my son that being smart isn't just about having a lot of knowledge. I worried the divorce would affect him, but it seemed unnecessary.
I've been bothered by Dad's actions since elementary school. Now that it's resolved, I can focus on studying.
Surprisingly, Hart still has much potential for growth. He also became interested in law.
Lawyers like wordplay and interesting, especially when making people who do wrong reflect on their actions.
He noted, aspiring for a career in legal work. That sounds expensive. I'm determined to work hard for my son's future.